I am on team, this ain't no game. I'm not your fan, you should know. Hops back in here, stay packing heat. You running shit, not actually. These niggas can pull off what I do up in this booth. I am too. Ooh, when I hit food on you know, I play you never knew. Only us. Some life trying to get hit to like it. Me, you go for this was born when I'm destroying my morning. Murder. Straight out the insane asylum. What the fuck am I just thinking about it? Can't define it. Say goodbye to any nigga you was vibing with. I fucking hate to climb it. I've been on your trail like an invasive pirate, making riots. Y'all can never slay the lies. I've been taking rappers and creating diets. Now they on the gram trying to make it private. Hoping I don't put them in the bad position. They be praying I don't ever catch them slipping. You can build the buzz, rapping sick shit, but you better not come around me like a different bitch. I've been lost on the path of sin, and I just hope the Lord's gonna have to give me. Sorry. Keep your mind that my back of business off me, and you gon' have a back collision. Oh, no. Ain't giving a fuck.
Savage. This is the RAWEST, the realest WMMA podcast on the planet. This is SavageWMMAFAN podcast episode 7. Let's go. Merry Christmas, motherfuckers. But nah, y'all. If you're listening to this on Christmas Day, this was recorded on the eve, Christmas fucking Eve. And I decided to put this out. I normally put my podcast out when I do them between 7 and 9 p.m. on Friday night. But I decided to upload this early. Hope everybody's having a good holiday, regardless of your belief system or lack thereof. All right. Without further ado, let's go. So my most recent video is about Jessica Andrade. And, some people feel that, Savage, maybe you're being a little too hard on Jessica Andrade. I mean, she was just talking about some type of fantasy. I don't give a fuck. I don't want to hear shit. I really don't want to hear it because at the end of the day, Jessica Andrade is a type of fighter where she's all over the place in like the best and the worst way. There's something said to getting somewhere for being all over the place, but at some point it becomes like an illness. Like, I get tired of fighters, interviewing with these journalists and just saying the most god-awful, points, takes. Just like, you got a fight coming up right now. You got a belt right now that you can earn. And you can shut a lot of motherfuckers up. Even me, if you win this fucking belt. But you want to talk about how you're going to just decorate yourself with 4 or 5 belts like you're a fucking boxer or something. You know what I'm saying? Jessica Andrade is not beating Nunes because Jessica Andrade is not likely going to go back down and beat Weili Zhang. And she's not even going to beat Valentina Shevchenko. Prove me fucking wrong, Jessica. Make me a motherfucking believer. Have me singing your praises all through the streets of where I lived all the way to fucking Brazil. You know what I'm talking about? Do something. Actually do something. And then you can be rewarded for it. And everybody know I don't fuck with the double champ status shit anyway. Next motherfucker to do that shit, I'm not covering their motherfucking fights. You ain't gotta like it, but I'm not doing it. But anyway, so Jessica Andrade, she just running her mouth saying crazy stuff. So, hey, you want to check the video out? It's there, but enough of that. So, it's been announced that early 2021, Mackenzie Dern, good old fake accent, smiling Dern. I actually like Mackenzie Dern. I think Mackenzie Dern is actually a good character for the UFC. She's wild and she's kind of simple at the same time. You know what I'm saying? Like, it works. It works, and she is a talented fighter. But I'm still not with the hype job or whatever, hype train that they kind of have put her on and her projections toward a title. But anyway, Kenzie Dern has a fight set up against good old Nina Asaroff, the missus of the double champ, Amanda the Lioness Nunes. And I went back and I was looking at Nina's most recent fights, and particularly the one against Tatiana Suarez. And I'm still pissed off that this person gets to fucking come back and probably essentially keep her same position in the division, though rankings are bullshit, but still. And she been off the same amount of time that fucking Suarez has. I mean, like, what, 19 months or some shit like that, right? But anyway, aside from that bullshit, despite all the shit, I gotta go with Nina Asaroff in this fight, and here's why, okay? Mackenzie Dern has been working with Jason Perillo and showing her how to throw jabs and hooks and whatnot. And like in that last fight, she lost that fucking fight. I don't want to hear fucking shit you want to say. The bottom line is, again, if you look like fucking Mackenzie Dern and you look like Verna Janjarova, it's over. You're going to lose a fight to Mackenzie Dern if it's a close decision. And I was really surprised how well Verna fought that fight, but So, but the main thing is, look at how well Verna did. I think Verna outstruck Mackenzie Dern. That's my opinion. So I'm like, if a non-striking mixed martial artist that's not really good at striking, so to speak, it's not that she's not capable at all. But I mean, Dern was real wild in that fucking fight, and she loved to close her eyes. And like I was saying on my man Combo Breaker 99's stream last night, at the end of the day, she gonna fuck around against Nina or some fighter, close her eyes and swing, and she gonna get to open her motherfucking eyes again. Okay? That's what's gonna happen. I don't know why you think you can keep swinging and closing your eyes. You swinging for the fences and you about to get booted through the motherfucking fence. It's a shame. But I think Nina she's a savvy veteran. She's proved, that she's game. She's not gonna go away. Even in that fight against Suarez, I mean, if you look, okay, let's check this out. How the fuck is Mackenzie Dern going to get Nina Asaroff down? That's my question. Is she going to be able to trip her? Is she going to be able to body her? I'm not so sure, but Nina Asaroff did real good in that fucking fight at stopping Tatiana Suarez. I know that in the third she got hurt or something like that, but she did a good job in making it very hard for her to get it down, even though the first 2 rounds, she essentially lost those clearly, right? But, again, I think Nina Asaroff has enough to get the job done. I think she has enough. I think she has enough tools in the tool bag to handle Mackenzie Dern, because I'm telling you, Mackenzie Dern gets away with this because she's either fighting strikers that are not super superior to her, who take their time and catch her. I definitely think body shots will be a problem for Mackenzie Dern. I think Nina's leg kicks would be a problem for Mackenzie Dern, though I think she needs to time those kicks and be careful, because that might be Mackenzie Dern's entry point for an actual takedown. But anyway, I just don't see Mackenzie doing. The only thing I can see happening is Mackenzie somehow catches her early and Nina makes a big mistake. That's about it. I mean, because even in Hannah Cybers was dominating her early. I thought that Ashley Yoda beat her personally. I thought that who is that? My girl Randa Marcos was doing decent, but you just don't lay in the guard. You don't lay in the guard of Mackenzie Dern like that if you don't know what the fuck you're doing. So, yeah, so I'm going with Nina Asaroff. I just think she's the more effective striker. And I think that she has a good enough defense on the ground that if it does go to the ground, she can get back up quicker than most. All right, now. Time for a public service announcement. This update on this situation. Hear ye, all of the WMMA Universe Court. Rose Namajunas is not ducking Weili Zhang. I repeat, Rose Namajunas is not ducking Weili Zhang. No, she is not. I don't give a fuck what Dana White and his bald head bastard ass says. She even came out on her YouTube channel. You can check it yourself. Saying, I don't know what the fuck. You know, that shit. She said fuck or shit or both of them. One of them. You know, they got this, oh, I'm so afraid or whatever. You see, I'm going to tell you something about Rose Namajunas that I sense. She don't like being picked on. The worst thing you can do is pick on fucking Rose. Because what Rose going to do is she going to pray for you. And she gonna fuck you up. And then she gonna pray for you again that she didn't fuck you up too damn much. Know what I'm talking about? So all that bullshit about Rose not being able to handle this pressure. She said, I'm the pressure cooker. Like, she's gonna put pressure on this young. Okay? She's here to win, okay? I don't wanna hear all that dumb shit anymore, okay? So Rose is not ducking anybody. You know, Dana could play his dumb games. But, you know. There'll be another part of this. There'll be more shit going on. And then we got to talk about it when the fight actually gets announced. After all this bullshit. So anyway. Any fucking way. We're going to spend a little time on this next topic because I want to apologize. And, you know, I want to apologize for it. You may not feel like I owe you an apology, but I want to apologize for it anyway. I really wanted to break down the fight of the year. This year. I just didn't have the time. Perhaps I had the tools, but I wasn't organized enough to do it. And I really wanted to do a comprehensive breakdown. I didn't want to just do it like a quick breakdown right after a fight. I really wanted to break down the fight between Weili Zhang and Joanna Jędrzejczyk, known respectfully as Bojangles in the LDWMMAC community. But anyway, I really want to break that damn fight down because I'm not going to argue. You're not going to get Savage arguing whether or not it's the greatest WMMA fight ever. It's hard to argue against it. It may not be impossible, but it's actually hard to argue against it. I mean, if you want to look at short fights that were exciting, I mean, Cyborg and Nunes might have been the greatest short fight. That might have been the WMMA version of, you know, Hagler and Hearns, if you want to use that comparison. But the bottom line is, it was a great fight. And I've been watching it. And I'm going to watch it some more before the year's over. And it's a long fight. It's a long fight. And normally, you got these fights, like these average fights, they're okay. And you kind of wish they were over, right? Decent fights, you want a little bit more at the end. Then you got those fights that they just really suck and they drag on and on forever. But with a fight like this great fight, my goodness. I mean, there could have been more, but it was just enough. You didn't need anything else. I mean, the way the fight started, like, there was just so much aggression. Like, you could see that, like, Zhang really wanted to win this motherfucking fight. She really wanted to prove herself. And I think Joanna started off with some decent kicks. And they were trading a little bit back and forth. But it was mostly Zhang in the first round. And a little bit more in the second round. But in that third round, I have to give her props. I'm not a fan, but I have to give her props. Joanna, she turned it up. She turned it up and she was tagging her. She was countering the fuck out of Zhang. And Zhang was taking him. Zhang was taking him like a champ. and they were going back and forth, but like toward the middle in the late third round, Joanna was getting hit hard. And this is something that the Addict pointed out, WMMA Addict. And Joanna went back like 5 times. Like the power of Weili Zhang was just too much for her. And I think that probably affected her on the judges than anything. Because some people think that Joanna only hit her more. I think she did land more punches. But people felt that, some people feel, and it's okay. It's a fair argument. It was fight. The fight was close. They also feel that she had enough significant strikes, not just overall strikes. I disagree. I think Weili's strikes were more significant. I think they did more damage. I don't think it was just the huge hematoma, fucking ogre head that Jacek was left with. I think that may have influenced the decision, but I don't think it was the only factor in the decision. But so yeah. But it was a great fight. I mean, all the way to the end. Like, I think it only slowed up just like for maybe 30 seconds in the fifth round, where they were kind of like gassing for a second, but they turned it right back up. I mean, I think like the last couple of seconds of the fight, it was like a kick to the head, another jab, overhand right. It was beautiful. But the reason though that I really wanted to, I really wanted to do that breakdown was because, like, I love fight breakdowns, right? I try to watch them. I mean, Coach, that's like number one. If he got a breakdown, I'm gonna check it out, right? And there's other people that do them, like Luke Thomas and a couple other guys. But I went and I checked around. I couldn't find a single breakdown in the fucking fight. And I thought it was insulting. Like, this is the fight of the year. Most presses, most outlets, most people who covered MMA agreed that this hands down was the best fight of the year, and it was. It was. It was a championship fight that was exciting throughout the whole fucking point of the fight. I didn't even mention the clinch work, the elbows, and the knees. I didn't even mention that. But anyway. Wasn't much groundwork. There was one takedown. So anyway, but I couldn't find it. I mean, Luke Thomas does dissect it, and he usually breaks down the best fights. I couldn't find this shit. I said, well, I know he likes to do breakdowns. I looked at this other guy, some former martial art. Couldn't find it. Nowhere. And I don't know. Maybe sometime next year I'll do the breakdown. Honestly, I'm at the point, this is not an ego thing with me. If somebody get it done before me, I may still do it, but I would love to see a more technical breakdown of the fight, because it is the greatest fucking fight of the year, and it's arguably the greatest fight in WMMA history. It deserves a breakdown. It really does. But anyway, I don't want to go into those politics and all that shit, or how people are not seeming to pay attention to women's mixed martial arts, because I'm going to go into a segment right now where I'm actually holding WMMA fighters accountable for their own issue. So last night, as I explained, me, Combo Breaker 99, and I believe the coach came on, and we were notification bell, and we were discussing. We were trying to discuss our likes and our dislikes of WMMA, and I talked about a bunch of things: not seeing enough main events, not getting enough championship fights. A lot of this was this year. I will say between like 2016 and 2019, it was pretty decent. I'm going to say 2016 and 2018 was a sweet spot for me. But still, we got some great fights. And we got fights we wanted to see. But There were other things, not enough call outs for women, a lot of things that I've discussed in videos and times before, right? But there is one thing that I did not mention that somebody else also mentioned. Pardon me. One thing that I didn't mention that I agreed with and that I observed myself, which is even the women who are like MMA junkies, right? They love it. They study it. They're technical, and they're fans of fighters. If you play close attention, they don't talk much about other women fighters. You do have your few, and you do have those that retire, and then later on they talk about them. But I'm talking about fucking active fighters never really speaking about other women fighters that they're fans of, that they respect, they admire, or just that they notice a little bit. And, for example, Megan Anderson has a channel. And Megan Anderson is good at commentating. She's good at doing ring work, interviewing fighters. Like, literally, that's her bag. I mean, podcasting and hosting shows and stuff like that. Megan could just get rich off of that, honestly, or at least be well off enough to take care of herself and her family, as far as I'm concerned, right? But even Megan Anderson doesn't talk about women like that. And I know she wants to be a champion and she's supposed to be focused. I hope she's focused. If she ain't focused on that next fight, she can get her ass whooped. But anyway, Megan don't really talk about it. And I'm talking about none of them do. None of them really do it. Like, the only one who kind of does it, I mean, Valentina does. But, okay, let me ask you a question. When do they talk about fighters that's, like, not even, about to fight for a championship? Like, they only talk about the top fighters, and they rarely talk about them. Like, Rose don't do it. When Rose does her little Instagram thing, her little thing she got, her little sponsorship for betting and whatnot, she never picks a woman fight. I've never heard, if she has, and I forgot, I apologize. I've never heard her pick one. Her two picks are always dudes. It's like they don't even like WMMA, and they're women mixed martial artists. I don't fucking understand it. I really don't understand it at all, but it is what it is. And so that's a complaint. I don't know how to get that message out, but I just, because it's like you can't force somebody to be interested or more interested. But I hope they do. I would even put that out there, like, hey, it'd be nice to hear you talk about other fighters, or to hear just anybody, any form of fight, just come out and talk more. Because, you're helping your own fucking crew, your own group, your own market. So, that's my thoughts on that. And now, the Savage of the Week. The Savage of the Week. Who should this go to? Who should be the Savage of the Week? I'm going to give it to Rose Namajunas. Oh, you thought it had to be somebody who recently fought to get the Savage of the Week. Nah, motherfucker. I give it to whoever the fuck I want. This is my show. You ain't got to be a fighter. But the reason I'm giving it to Rose Namajunas, I like how she checked all them motherfuckers who claim that she ain't fighting. She don't want to fight her. She's starting camp right fucking now. Pat Berry, what's that, Chico? I can't think of the dude's name. And look, they all coming together. And they got one goal: beat Whaley's ass. So there you go. All the Rose haters be damned in 2021. These are the words of the Savage. So I hope everybody enjoyed their holiday. Be safe out here. I don't know. and be around who you can be around. And, you know, keep going. You know, because this year's been bad, but hey, you know, tough times don't last. Tough people do. So we're just going to try to toughen up as best as we can. With that said, this is the rawest, the realest WMMA podcast on the planet. This is Savage WMMA Fan, and I'm out.